you're having this absolutely terrifying nightmare. You're being chased through a dark forest by a tiger.
Oh, yeah, the classic nightmare.
Right. And you can literally hear the twigs snapping right at your heels. You feel the burning exhaustion in your lungs, just pure adrenaline-fueled panic.
Right.
And then suddenly, your eyes snap open. You're in your bed, your heart is still pounding against your ribs, but you look around the dark room, take a massive shaky breath, and you just say, oh, thank goodness it wasn't real. I'm awake.
Yeah, and honestly, that is arguably one of the greatest feelings of relief a human being can experience, right?
Totally.
Just that sudden, overwhelming comfort of recognizing that the mortal threat you just ran from had absolutely no substance.
Exactly. But what if that relief is completely premature?
Oh, boy.
What if the bedroom you just woke up in and that pounding heart in your chest and, the endless inbox you have to check in 10 minutes, what if all of that is just another layer of the dream?
Now that is a thought.
It really is. So today we are doing a deep dive into an incredibly fascinating stack of sources detailing the ancient Indian philosophy of Advaita Vedānta. We're going to be looking at texts like the Upaniṣads, the commentaries of the sage Shukrakarya, and some modern analyses too.
Yeah, all to figure out if you, the person listening to this right now, are actually awake.
Exactly. Okay, let's unpack this because the mission today is to completely flip how you view your daily stressors, your problems, and even your fundamental sense of self. We're going to investigate what is actually real using some razor-sharp ancient logic.
And we should definitely clarify up front, this isn't some abstract, purely theoretical thought experiment.
Right, it's not just blind belief.
Exactly. It's a rigorous, practical system. It's a testable investigation into the mechanics of your own mind, which makes it perfectly suited for anyone who's just, curious about how reality works.
So if we look at these texts, the baseline premise is that right now, as I'm speaking to you, and as you're listening to this on your commute or at your desk, we are asleep.
Yes. The texts refer to our normal, everyday waking state as a grand, overarching dream. The Sanskrit term is Mahā Svapna.
Mahā Svapna, the grand dream.
Right. So just as you took that dream tiger in the forest to be absolutely solidly real while you were asleep, right now you are taking the physical world, your relationships, your anxieties to be the ultimate reality.
Wow.
The philosophy essentially categorizes all of us as sleepwalkers. I mean, we are navigating a highly complex shared illusion without even realizing it.
Which I guess explains why one of the ancient texts we looked at, the Upaniṣads, literally shouts at the reader.
It does.
It just says, arise, awake. And you obviously don't yell that at someone who's already up and making coffee.
Exactly. But the sources don't just tell you to wake up and leave it at that.
Yeah.
They provide a very specific 3-step method to actually do it.
Right, because you don't just snap your fingers and suddenly you're enlightened.
No, not at all. It requires deliberate effort. So the texts outline this sequence. First, there's Shravana, which means you have to actually hear the truth from a teacher or a scripture. You have to be exposed to the idea that you are, in fact, dreaming.
Makes sense. You need the wake-up call first.
Right. Then the second step is manana, and this is crucial. You have to ruthlessly logic test that idea.
So not just taking it on faith.
Exactly. No blind belief. You use rigorous reasoning to remove every single doubt until your intellect is completely satisfied. And then third, there's nididhasana, which is daily assimilation or meditation.
And the texts are brutally honest about how hard that third step is, right?
Absolutely.
Because they talk about our ingrained habits.
Yeah.
We have lifetimes of conditioning telling us the physical world is the only thing that matters. They call these tendencies vasanas. And the texts compare them to hitting the snooze button on an alarm clock.
That's a perfect modern analogy for it.
Yeah. Like you hear the philosophy, you have a moment of clarity where you think, wow, none of this stress is real.
Yeah.
And then your phone buzzes with a work email.
And your habit just kicks right back in.
Exactly. You fall right back asleep into the anxiety.
Yeah, the gravity of the dream is immense.
But, hold on. I need to push back on this core premise for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
Because if I am dreaming right now in a grand super dream, why does the physical world have so much consequence?
What do you mean?
Well, in a normal night dream, if I pinch myself or if I fall off a cliff, the shock jolts me awake. If this waking world is just a dream, why doesn't stubbing my toe on a coffee table instantly shatter the illusion and wake me up?
That's a very fair point.
I mean, when I stub my toe, it turns purple and throbs for 3 days. That's biology, right? Not an illusion.
So what's fascinating here is that this is the exact friction point most people hit. To understand this, we have to look at the mechanical difference between a private night dream and this grand shared super dream we're in right now.
Okay, I'm listening.
In a private night dream, the illusion is really fragile. It's generated entirely by your individual subconscious. So a loud noise in your physical bedroom or just a shift in your sleep cycle breaks it instantly.
Right, the dream world vanishes completely.
Yes, it's replaced by the waking world. But the grand dream, this physical universe, operates on a completely different scale. You cannot willpower your way out of it from the inside.
Why not?
Because the very sensory organs you are using to measure the world, your nervous system, your brain, your toe that just got stubbed, they are all woven out of the dream fabric themselves.
Oh, wow.
You're trying to measure a dream using dream instruments? Of course the toe hurts. In a dream about a desert, dream water will quench your dream thirst. Within the context of the illusion, the rules of biology and physics hold true.
Wait. So you're telling me that when I finally wake up spiritually, the coffee table is still going to be there?
Yeah.
The world doesn't just, like, dissolve into white light?
The physical objects do not vanish, no.
So what does waking up even mean then? I still have to pay my taxes.
You absolutely still have to pay your taxes.
Damn.
I know, right? But seriously, a wise person who has woken up sees the exact same trees, the same traffic jams, and the same coffee tables that you do. What changes entirely is your mindset.
Okay, how so?
It's the order of reality you assign to them. You no longer view these objects as absolute. The tragedy of life gets converted into the level of an incredibly immersive movie. It still plays out, but it loses its power to traumatize you.
Okay, I see. But if the world is still physically present and we're supposed to treat it as less real, we need a totally bulletproof definition of what reality actually means. Otherwise, it's just, wordplay.
And Advaita Vedānta provides an incredibly strict, almost mathematical definition for this.
Right.
They state that for something to be considered ultimately real, it must have existence of its own. It cannot depend on anything else to exist. If a thing borrows its existence from another source, it's categorized as mithya.
Mithya, meaning unreal from the ultimate standpoint.
Exactly. It's a borrowed reality, something that is empirically experienced, but ultimately unreal.
And the texts use this subject versus object framework for this that I found really fascinating. The subject, which is you, the pure awareness, witnessing this moment, is real.
Yes.
But every single object you perceive is mithya. It's borrowing its reality. And that doesn't just mean external objects like a chair or a car.
Yeah.
It includes your physical body and even your thoughts, right? Because they are objects in your awareness.
That's spot on. And the analogy they use to explain this dependency is just brilliant in its simplicity. Think of a mirror.
Okay.
The face looking into the mirror is the real subject. The reflection in the mirror is the world, the ego, everything we perceive. Now, the reflection looks exactly like the face. It mimics it perfectly. But the reflection has zero independent existence.
Right, because if the face walks away, the reflection vanishes instantly.
Exactly. The reflection is entirely contingent.
Yeah.
But let's take it a step further to really explain the mechanics of how this borrowed existence feels so solidly real to us.
Let's do it.
The ancient teachers used the analogy of a potato boiling in a pot of water over a fire.
Okay, a potato.
Yeah. So if you reach in and touch that boiling potato, it'll burn your hand. It is undeniably painfully hot. But does the potato inherently possess heat?
Well, no. A raw potato sitting in a field is cold.
Right. The potato is borrowing its heat from the boiling water.
Okay, I'm following.
But does water inherently possess heat? No, water in its natural state is cool. The water is borrowing the heat from the metal pot, and the pot is borrowing the heat from the fire.
Ah, I see.
The fire is the only thing in that entire chain that has intrinsic, unborrowed heat. Everything else is just passing it along.
So if we apply that to the listener right now, like look at the space around you as you are listening to this. So the phone or computer you are listening to this on isn't nothing. You can touch it, but its existence is highly conditional.
Exactly.
They are temporary arrangements of molecules, borrowing their reality from a deeper, unchanging source, just like the potato borrowing the fire's heat.
Yes. And the underlying unchanging fire in this metaphor is what the texts call Brahman, the ultimate absolute reality. Everything else in the universe is simply a temporary form borrowing existence from Brahman.
Wow.
And to help us navigate this, the texts organize our experience into three orders of reality.
Oh, right. The pāramārthika and all that.
Exactly. There's pāramārthika, which is the absolute reality, the unchanging Brahman.
Yeah.
Then there's pratyekāsika, which is the apparent reality, like your private night dream that only lasts until you wake up.
And then the middle one.
The middle is vyavaharika, the empirical reality. That's the waking world we are in right now. It's a shared dream. It's more real than a night dream, but less real than the absolute.
Okay, I understand the logic of the boiling potato. I see how everything physical is a temporary changing form. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh.
If the entire universe, with all its galaxies, its quantum mechanics, its incredible complexity, if all of that is just a borrowed reflection, what is casting this high-definition illusion?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right. Like, how does an unchanging, formless reality like Brahman generate an entire universe of forms?
Well, to explain this, the texts introduce the concept of Maya. The word Maya literally translates to magic or trick.
Magic.
Yeah, it is the phenomenal power that projects the universe.
And the texts describe Maya as inarvakanya.
Right.
Inexplicable.
Exactly. It defies strict categorization.
Because it can't be called totally existent, since when you gain ultimate knowledge, the illusion stops binding you. But it can't be called completely non-existent either, because obviously we're all experiencing it. We're in it.
It's what is experienced, but cannot be logically explained.
It's exactly like a magician sawing someone in half. You sit in the audience, you see the boxes separate, you experience the illusion vividly. But when you go backstage and investigate the trapdoors, the magic trick dissolves. The experience was real, but the substance was a trick.
That is a perfect way to look at it. And the texts go deep into the mechanics of this trick. They say this illusion of Maya is woven out of 3 fundamental strands, or guhas.
Right, the gudas. Let's expand on those, because I think this is where the ancient philosophy maps perfectly onto our modern, everyday nervous systems.
Absolutely. The 3 strands are sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva is the faculty of knowing, clarity, and harmony.
Okay.
Rajas is the faculty of action, dynamism, and restlessness. And tamas is inertia, obstruction, and heaviness. Every moment of your life is a fluctuating combination of these 3 strands.
So practically speaking, sattva is that rare, quiet Sunday morning when you're sitting with a cup of coffee, your mind is totally still, and everything just feels clear and peaceful.
Yes, total lucidity.
And then Monday morning hits, your alarm goes off, your inbox is flooded, and you are propelled into frantic, anxious action. That's rajas taking over the mind.
Exactly. It's the energy of desire and fear driving you to move.
And then tamas would be that heavy, lethargic, couch lock feeling on a Friday night where you can't even summon the energy to choose a show on TV. Your mind is just dull. So the texts are saying that this entire universe, from the movement of planets down to my shifting moods, is just a swirling mix of these 3 strands of Maya.
Yes, all projected onto the blank canvas of Brahman. Brahman provides the pure existence, while Maya provides all the namarupa, the names and forms. Together, Brahman and Maya equal Ajvata, the creative lord.
But I'm still stuck on the why.
Okay, lay it on me.
If Brahman is totally unchanging, absolutely perfect, and actionless, how on earth did it create this magical Maya to begin with? Why would perfection suddenly decide to become a magician and create a universe filled with traffic jams and heartbreak?
Right, the human mind desperately wants a chronological why. We want to say, first there was Brahman, and then on Tuesday, Brahman decided to create Maya.
Exactly.
But the texts argue that this is a flawed premise. Maya is anadi, which means beginningless. You cannot say Brahman produced Maya.
Wait, really? Beginningless?
Yeah. You cannot ask what happened before time began, because time itself is part of the illusion of Maya. Therefore, the relationship between the absolute reality and the illusion is beginningless.
That is a total mind bender.
It definitely takes a second to wrap your head around, but they use the analogy of fire and its illumining power. You cannot separate fire from its light. You can't say the fire exists first and then later decides to create light. They are inherently, beginninglessly together.
Oh, I see.
The pure consciousness of Brahman inherently possesses the power to appear as the many. It doesn't perform an action to create the universe simply appears.
Okay, so if we manage to strip all of this away, if we see through the magician's trick of Maya, if we realize our shifting moods, our bodies, and our surroundings are just temporary borrowed reality, what is actually left over? When you peel the onion all the way to the core, what is the fundamental reality that the listener actually is?
The ancient sages arrived at a very specific definition of your true self, the Atma. They call it Sat Chidananda.
Sat Chidananda.
Yes. Sat means pure existence. Chit means pure consciousness. And Ananda means limitlessness, which is often translated as pure bliss or fullness.
And the crucial distinction here that completely changed how I read this is that these three words are not adjectives describing you. They are nouns.
Yes, exactly.
You don't have existence the way a car has a steering wheel. You are existence.
That's a huge shift in perspective, and it's vital to understand that Sat, Chit, and Ananda are not three separate parts of Brahman mixed together. The sage Shankarakarya gave a beautiful analogy for this. Imagine a single man.
Okay.
To his son, he's known as a father. To his sibling, he's made as a brother. To his parents, he's known as a son. Father, brother, and son are not three distinct limbs of the man.
Right. They are three different relational angles of the exact same undivided person.
Yes. From the perspective of inert matter, your true self is recognized as pure existence, or Sat. From the perspective of living beings, you are pure consciousness, or Chit. And from the perspective of the human mind, which is constantly seeking fulfillment, you are recognized as limitless bliss, or Ananda. Three names for the same indivisible reality.
I have to stop you there, though.
Uh-oh. What is it?
Because if I am literally made of pure, limitless bliss and total completeness, why do I feel so stressed about my inbox? Why do I get furious sitting in traffic? If I'm inherently full, why do I feel so incomplete?
Well, this raises an important question, and the texts diagnose this exact condition as avidya, or ignorance. We suffer from a fundamental identity mix-up.
How does the mix-up happen?
You are the pure, unblemished awareness, but you mistakenly superimpose the limitations of your changing physical body and your anxious mind onto that unchanging, limitless self. The mind feels stress, and because you identify with it, you say, I am stressed, I am incomplete.
And because we feel incomplete, we try to fix it using the physical world. The texts call this the roundabout way of seeking happiness.
Exactly.
It perfectly describes modern consumerism, honestly.
Yeah.
We feel this massive void inside, and we try to fill it with finite, borrowed objects. We think, if I just get that promotion, if I just buy that house, then the void will be filled. But it's just going the roundabout way instead of realizing we are already puat.
Puat, meaning full.
Yeah.
You are trying to achieve wholeness by accumulating temporary illusions. As long as you look for completeness in the changing empirical world, you will always be frustrated.
So how do we actually practically snap out of this ignorance? Especially when our pain feels so overwhelmingly real. We use the ultimate metaphor provided by the scriptures.
The movie screen metaphor.
Yes.
It is arguably the most powerful tool for converting this abstract philosophy into daily peace. Imagine walking into an empty movie theater before the film starts. There's just a pure, pristine, blank white screen. That screen represents the Atma, you.
The pure consciousness.
Exactly. Then the projector turns on, and the movie starts playing. The characters, the tragedies, the plot, that is the world and your life events. Now, the screen accommodates absolutely everything the projector throws at it, but it is attached to nothing. It's a sangha, completely unattached.
Right, because if there's a raging forest fire playing on the movie screen, the physical fabric of the screen doesn't burn. If they show a ship sinking, the screen doesn't get wet.
Exactly. But here's the problem, what they call adhyasa. You sit in the dark theater of life, and you get entirely absorbed in the plot. When are you afraid of the movie? When you forget the screen.
Oh, wow. It's exactly like when you cry in a theater. The movie literally moves you, as the text says, Movadi E.T. movie.
Yes.
But when the credits roll and the lights come up, you wipe your tears and you praise the performance. You don't walk out with a deep psychological scar from a fictional death. So what does this all mean for us?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the goal of Advaita isn't to destroy the world or suppress your emotions. The jnani, the wise person, still feels pain. But they practice titika, which is endurance.
Yeah, right.
They develop immense mental distance. When a tragedy occurs, they feel the sorrow, but they note the mind is unhappy rather than I am unhappy.
They convert the binding struggle of life into an entertainment, right? A lila or play.
Yes, you still play your part, but you're no longer held hostage by it. You never forget you are the screen.
What a massive paradigm shift. Okay, let's briefly recap the incredible journey these texts have taken us on.
Let's do it.
We started with waking up from the super dream of saṁsāra. We realized that our worldly existence is just borrowed heat, like a boiling potato.
Yep.
We saw through the inexplicable magician's trick of Maya. We discovered our true underlying nature as Sat Chit Ananda. And finally, we learned how to watch the chaotic movie of life without ever forgetting that we are the unblemished screen.
It really is a complete dismantling of how we usually operate. And since we're wrapping up, I want to leave you with a final thought to mull over tonight, building on these sources.
Ooh, okay. Lay it on us.
Think about this tonight when you go to bed. Every single night, you enter a state of deep sleep. In that state, the projector shuts off entirely. The entire movie of your waking life vanishes. No physical body, no inbox, no traffic.
Nothing.
The screen goes completely blank. Yet, you still exist to wake up the next day. Who exactly is that you waiting in the dark?
Oh, that's why.
The next time you close your eyes to sleep, see if you can catch the exact moment the movie stops, and see if you can feel the blank screen.
That is such a profound challenge. Well, you've been listening to a deep dive into the logic of Advaita Vedānta. Thank you so much for joining us as we question the very fabric of reality. Keep investigating, keep seeking, and above all,